everyone, welcome to evening chanting and meditating with Venerable John tonight. Venerable John, our great teacher monk today is from Thailand. Please welcome Venerable John ค่ะค่ะหลวงพี่เริ่มเลยค่ะ Good evening ค่ะ Venerable John หลวงพี่ John หลวงพี่ John can you hear me ค่ะค่ะ Venerable John can you hear me ค่ะ
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay yeah
But I cannot see the video just now. Possible to switch on the video from your side?
Yes, please introduce yourself, ค่ะ just a little bit, and then the topic that you will talk.
Okay. So are we waiting for more people, or shall we begin?
We don't have, because of the COVID, today we still don't have in person, ค่ะ We have on the Facebook Live and on the YouTube.
Oh, okay. So I will just proceed. Right? I just proceed now, or do you want me to wait a little bit longer?
B มันขึ้นใน Facebook ก่อนขึ้นไหมคะค่ะ Facebook you on Facebook ค่ะหลวงพี่
Okay. So good evening, everyone. This is Monk John from Thailand, and I think this is actually my first time facilitating a Zoom session for the New Jersey Center, and this is also being broadcasted online on Facebook and YouTube. So if you maybe you have any questions, you can also send to Pat, and then she will forward those questions or your feedback to me as well. So now we're gonna begin first with the evening chanting, and then after that I'm gonna guide you with a short meditation, and after the meditation we're gonna talk a little bit about the secret nature of the mind. So if you want this to be a little bit more interactive, you can also join via Zoom. You can get the link from Pat, and then you can also ask me live questions as well. Okay, so let's begin with the evening chanting. โยโสภะคะวาอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธสวากขาโตเยนะภะคะวะตาธัมโมสุปฏิปันโนยัสสะภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆธัมมยังภะคะวันตังสัทธัมมังสัสสังฆังอิเมหิสการเรหิยะธาระหังอาโรปิเตหิอภิปูชยามะสาธุโนพันเตภะคะวะสุจิราปรินิพพุโตปิ ชิมาชนะตานุกรรมปมานาสาอิเมสการเรทุขตาปันนาการภูเตปฏิคันหาตุอัมหากังทีคารตังหิตายาสุขายาอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภควาพุทธังภควันตังอภิวาเทมิสวากขาโตภควตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามิอันธรรมยังพุทธัสสะภะคะวะโตอุปภาคณมการังกโรมาเสนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ Okay, so now after we finish our chanting, then we're gonna have a short meditation together. The reasons that we normally do chanting before the meditation is we compare this chanting to be more or less a very basic mindfulness practice. It helps us to recollect our awareness and bring it back within, so that maybe we were distracted, we have a lot of wandering thoughts and so on. We will definitely be able to stay calmer and be able to be ready for a meditation practice. So the meditation practice, what we're going to do is to adjust our sitting posture, and we're going to prepare ourselves so that we sit in the most comfortable position. And then we're going to start by relaxing the whole body before recollecting the awareness and keep it inside ourselves. The awareness within is the key for the meditation, but we will not be able to do that for long if we don't feel relaxed. So it has to be balanced between both consciousness or awareness, so that you are aware that your mind is within yourself. And we have to do that relaxingly, so that we'll be able to maintain this pace for an extended period of time. So once you are ready, let's begin by closing your eyes softly and gently. Close your eyes softly and gently, and relax all the muscles in your body. Relax the muscles from the top of your head down to your toes. You may begin by relaxing the muscles from your forehead down to your chin and your chin. Feel the flow of relaxation spreading to the muscles of your neck and your shoulders. Allow all of your shoulders to drop naturally. And relax the muscles of your arms, your hands, down to your fingertips. Relax the muscles of your torso, from your chest to your stomach, your hips, your thighs, your knees, down to your feet, to the tips of your toes. Allow yourself to feel relaxed in every part of your body. When the whole body is feeling more relaxed, it will be easier to keep our minds within ourselves. I would like you to prepare for bringing the mind within by imagining that you were alone in a vast, empty space. This can be anywhere in the world. That you be there all by yourself. And you have no worry, no responsibility. And you are able to take a little vacation for yourself. Imagine yourself in either on top of a mountain, in a forest, a flower garden, on a beach, or anywhere in the world. Now I would like you to recollect your attention your awareness to your breath. You may breathe softly, slowly, as deep as you can. As soft, as gentle as you can. Let your mind stay with the awareness of your breath. So we can make sure that the mind is staying within and not without. The breath is the airflow within ourselves. And if we are able to stay with the breath, we are now keeping our consciousness within the perimeter of the body. We will spend the first moment to calm our mind down. The mind that is being easily distracted, that likes to wander into everything in the world, is now staying primarily with our own breath. So if we breathe a little slower, we naturally calm our mind down. Once the mind becomes a little calmer, which we can observe, by feeling the lightness within. The mind that carries heavy thoughts, heavy feelings, is now pairing with our breath. So the way of the mind is being lifted, feeling a little lighter, and I would like you to observe the deepest end of your breath, when the airflow is reaching and softly touching the middle of our stomach, the middle of our body, and if we are doing it right, this feeling will become as soft as a bird's feather, floating down from the sky. And finally land up on a calm water surface, without disturbing the calmness of the water surface. We repeatedly bring our attention to the center of the body, and every touch our minds will absorb soft and gentle feeling, even though we might not be able to keep our mind totally still. The mind won't stay motionlessly. But if we keep feeling and touching the center repeatedly, the mind will absorb the softness and gentleness of the body center. That will become like super glue. Is keeping the mind still at the center of the body. So if we have a feeling that something soft and gentle, warm and comfortable is now inside our body, around the middle of our stomach. We'll be able to withdraw our attention and stay conscious, feeling calm with the awareness of the body center. We can now shift our attention from the breath to focusing softly and gently at the center of the body. Let's maintain this attention as long as you can. By repeating a mantra in the mind. Samma Arahang Samma Arahang Samma Arahang Samma Arahang Samma means the right way, and Arahang means the purest state of the mind. So together we are reminding ourselves that we are on the right way to purify the mind. Samma Arahang Samma Arahang Samma Arahang Samma Arahang. We will repeat the mantra on our own. Do not just listen to my voice, but these word phrases will be more effective when repeating in the mind on our own. Samma Arahang Samma Arahang now staying much calmer. But in order to prevent any possible distractions, and that's a nature of the mind, to wander, to be distracted, but we can minimize all distractions by visualizing we visualize one image which can be the sun, the full moon, a water drop, a crystal ball, or a bubble, a round and spherical shape that we can daydream easily about it. And now we feel that we are bringing our minds to dream about the object. Let it become the only image our minds are paying attention to. Visualize the object together with repeating the mantra and let the visualization object become the only image our minds are paying attention to. Samma Arahang Samma Arahang สัมมาอะระหังสัมมาอะระหังสัมมาอะระหังสัมมาอะระหังallow the mind to stay still, feeling soft, light and comfortable, still, soft, light, comfortable, still, soft, light, ocean, in this ocean of inner peace, the sea of serenity, of the space of tranquility, all around. compassion. And I'd like you to share the peace energy, your kindness, your compassion to everyone by imagining that your peace energy radiates, will expand in all directions to cover yourself and everyone around you. The same house, same building, doesn't matter who they are. May all of them be happy. May all of them be free from sadness and all kinds of danger. May all of them feel the inner peace that you are sharing. Allow the energy to expand to all over your city and share your love, your kindness, your peace energy to everyone there, regardless of who they are, what they do, where they come from. May all of them be happy. May all of them be free from sadness. May all of them feel the inner peace that you are sharing. And allow the peace energy to expand to cover the entire world. And everyone in the world. So that there's no space in the world not being touched by your peace energy. May everyone in the world be happy. May all of them be free from sadness. May all of them feel the inner peace We are spreading everyone to live in harmony with no fight, no conflict, no violence, and no war. May peace prevail on earth. And now a meditation session is coming to an end. You may take a few deep breaths in and out a few times. Breathe in, breathe out, long, softly, slowly. And once you feel you are ready, you may softly, slowly open your eyes while listening to my blessing. Sapphe Buddha Palapatta Paccekaนัญชยัง Phalang Arahanta Nanchate Chen Arakhaṃ Panthami Sapphaso Te Atalatha Sukhita Virunha Puddhasasane Aroka Sukhita Hota Saha Sapphe Yadiphi Sapphaputtha Nupavena Sapphathamma Nupavena Sappasangha Nupavena Sattha Soti Bhavantu Te. Alright, so welcome back. I hope that you feel relaxed and enjoy this little inner peace time together. It would be nice to hear your feedback. So let me see if I'm able to, acquire those feedbacks. But you can maybe post on the Facebook or YouTube if you are capable for it. So this meditation, it lasts for 50 minutes. If you feel that it didn't take that long and the time went much faster than 50 minutes, then you're having a good session, maybe a great session. So that's one key indicator we can observe by ourselves. And the second indicator is whether you feel comfortable. If in some part of the meditation you manage to achieve this comfortable feeling, how will we know that we feel comfortable? Like the lightness within, that you feel like breathlessness or something like that. So that is a second key indicator of having a great sessions as well. The third one, whether you feel content. Contentment is the feeling that you didn't want the session to end, or you didn't want anything more or anything less. That you feel very content with the present moment. That is the third indicator. And the last indicator is whether you are able to do it effortlessly, like easily. if, well, it's getting easier and easier and easier. Maybe at first it will be difficult, but later on, I would say later on, and this later on could be like 40 minutes later, 50 minutes later, towards the end, it started to feel much easier than you were having a great session. All right, so hopefully some of these indicators are felt in these sessions. And if you have any questions, you can ask, and maybe the moderators can type the questions on the comment. Okay. All right, so I like to share a little bit of my notes today. This is about the nature of our own minds. Okay, let me switch to the presentation view. You can see everything here. All right. So we're going to talk about the mind here. And in order to explain about the mind, we first need to explain that in our human self, there are two parts, the body and the mind. And to make this simple, overly simplified, we have the part of the body is something that we can touch, and the mind is something that we cannot. Okay, so if we talk about something we can touch, including our body, including our organs, or even our brain, then we take this as a part of our body. But the mind is the part that we cannot touch. So even though we cannot touch our brain, but we should consider the brain as a part of the body and not the mind. And why do I put it this way? Because when we meditated just now in these sessions, you might heard me saying something like, now your mind is with your breath. Now your mind is within your stomach. Now your mind is within your body. Or now your mind is being softly lighter. It doesn't make really much sense when we associate the word mind with the brain. Okay, so to make it very simple, overly simplified, we're gonna consider the mind, the software. So we can have different analogy for that. One of them is to have a computer with a plane and a pilot. A pilot who actually flies an airplane. The pilot is the body. Sorry, the pilot is the mind, and the plane is the body. So we want to make sure that the pilot is conscious and capable and certified to fly an airplane, right? Or if we have a car, that would be the driver of the car. We wouldn't allow anyone who are not able to drive, or anyone who are drunk or who are mindless to drive our car, because that is gonna crash our car and make like an accident. Okay, so basically the mind will work very well with consciousness. So sometimes these two words can also be seen like identical words, but they're a little bit different here, because for me, or in meditation, consciousness is one quality of the mind. So your mind can be conscious, and your mind can also be unconscious as well, depending on the amount of your awareness or how you focus on one thing. And this focus, this consciousness really amplifies the power of our body or ourselves. So consider one scenario here, okay? So this is, okay, I'm gonna put myself to the other side so it won't block your view. Consider this. Your eyes are looking at one object. So the input is the object. The input is the sight of the object. The hardware is your eyes. The software. Why is the software here? Considering two scenarios. The first scenario is you look at the object, but you didn't actually pay much attention to it. Your eyes were actually at something, but you can't see it. Is that possible? Sometimes it does, right? Maybe your mind was somewhere else. You were looking at me or this chart or this presentation, but if at some point your mind was somewhere else, you probably didn't hear me, or you wouldn't be able to look at what I'm presenting. So this applies in a classroom, a meeting room, or in the road, or anything else. You were looking, but you didn't see it. That's because your software, the seeing, doesn't work effectively. Your seeing software needs or requires some amount of consciousness to see. And that's how we separate between the hardware and the software. Because our eyes are looking at that thing. Maybe we can also explain with hearing as well. Maybe many years ago, or if you are still a university student, remembering those days when you were just playing games or just doing something, or maybe just these days as well, if you didn't hear your mom calling you for lunch, for dinner, actually your ears were receiving the signal from the mom's voice, right? But you didn't hear her because the software or the hearing didn't have enough consciousness. As a result, you didn't receive the sense of sound that comes from your mom, right? So this depends really a lot on the amount of consciousness that your mind has. If your mind is less conscious or unconscious, like if you drink and then you're drunk, the amount of consciousness drops drastically, and you wouldn't be able to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, to touch, or to understand very easily compared with when you are fully conscious. Well, not to mention being drunk, just when you wake up and you are still a little bit less, maybe not ready to wake up yet. That is when you are sleepy, you are less conscious, how your eyes will see, how you're gonna perceive everything not to the same level as when you are fully conscious, right? The question is, what drives this consciousness away? That's very important. Otherwise, we will not be able to make use of our systems, our body, effectively. And this perhaps a result how we wouldn't be able to enjoy the same food, the same thing that we eat, the same song that we hear, or the same picture that we see every day. Because every day when we see them, we don't see, hear, taste, touch the same thing, right? The smell as well. The amount of consciousness that we have every day will be different. So the question is, what drives this consciousness away? One thing that we can potentially explain is that when our minds is within ourselves, like here when we practice meditation, we are fully conscious compared to when the mind is without. Our mind has a nature of traveling. I like to travel far and fast. Just with an eye blink, I can be in the other part of the world. I can be in the New Jersey Center. I was there before, and I remember all the buildings, and I remember many people there, and I remember the roads around, and there were some airs in the garden too, and that was, like the fantastic atmosphere, and that I remember. So if I wouldn't kind of if I couldn't feel this consciousness with what I'm doing, and my mind slipped away and started to think of the other part of the world, now in Thailand, my mind can be in the States, the United States. That is when I'm less conscious, and I will not be able to use my eyes, my ears, my nose, my mouth, especially the tongue, and my body effectively. It's like a computer hardware that is installed with some floor software. If your operating systems, just imagine a computer that has a flaw in the operating systems or in the software itself, or it is infected with viruses, then the computer will not work the same way. So this is exactly happening to our mind and the body, relation between them. So the thing is that it is also like when we actually see the world with unclear or dirty glasses. If you look through glasses that are dirty, that are colored, somehow your visions of seeing the world is not the same when you see with clear visions, with your clear glasses. It means that our minds contains as well some impurities. These impurities, or I just mentioned the word viruses, actually is a part of our minds as well. It depends where your mind is clear or unclear. If your mind is clouded, you will not see anything clearly. Like you're looking at this picture. This picture contains the left side and the right side. The left side here, okay, I'm blocking the picture, I'm switching to the right. Here, you can see that this is an object floating in, and if you look closely, you can, if you see it from the phone, maybe you can look a little closely to see what it is. What is it? It is a crocodile, right? Yeah. This picture contains a crocodile, and now is above, a little above the water surface, so you can see what is there. On the other hand, here, when you look at the right photo here, you can't potentially claim that there's something inside the water because the water is clouded, right? Now it's better to see because now the water is clear and pure. So we come to a little conclusion here that your mind depends a lot on how clear it is to work effectively, to work even appropriately, right? If your mind is filled with contamination, clouded things, it will not work the way it's supposed to work. It's like software that is infected with viruses, or it contains some bugs that the programmers still need to remove them, if that makes sense. Yeah, so this contamination is like a glass of water, this bottle of water. You see here, there's a bottle of water here. if I open the bottle and I drop something in the water can become clouded and can lose and lost the clarity, right? That is exactly what we do with our own minds. In our daily lives, we tend to contaminate our minds and make it clouded in many activities. When you work, if you work and you feel stressed, that is when you start dropping ink into the water. When you work, when you talk to people and then you feel upset, then you start dropping ink into the water. But this is not about being upset. It could be all emotions, even love. It's like, even though you do not drop an ink into the water or like dirt into the water, but now you drop a drop of ink, but with like different color. There is one saying in my languages. So I'm not sure if that is in English as well. It's like, when you love someone, the world becomes in the color pink. It's like the world is, now you're looking through pink color eyeglasses, something like that. It's like you're seeing the world in different color. Suppose that you look at a person you love. Somehow, the face of the person looks more appealing to you. Or maybe he or she looks even more beautiful to your eyes. That's how your mind is being affected with already some biases, and that could be a good and a bad thing. It could be a bad thing because now your judgment will be impaired. Now your judgment will deteriorate because you tend to favor people that you love more than people that you don't. Or you tend to favor people that you love more than people that you hate. And that can be a problem sometimes, right? Because there's no guarantee that people that we love will do always the right thing, while we potentially will say everything they do is right. Okay, well, we come to a very difficult discussion here about the notion of how we differentiate between positivity, negativity, good, bad, right, and wrong, or should and should not. I know this is not very easy to explain, but at least I hope that this gives you maybe a new perspective on how your mind can be sensitive with different things and how that sensitivity affects your perception, your understanding, your thinking, and your memory. In order to make sure that your mind will not work with biases and will not be affected by all contaminations, you need to clean the mind regularly. The cleanness of the mind, like this water here, will allow your mind to, because you can clean your body, you can clean your eyes, but you can clean your mouth, your tongue, your teeth. You can clear ear waxes in your ears. You can shower, makes your body clean. But none of these will clean contamination from your minds. And your minds can only be cleaned with the practice of meditation, like what we just finished, what we just done now. So I hope that this gives you some idea of how important mindfulness and meditation is to our life. And if you've been practicing meditation regularly, I like you to observe. Maybe some meditation can be good, some meditation can be a little bit not so much, doesn't meet expectation or something like that. So try to observe this cleanness of the mind and always meditate until your mind is clean and pure. Do not just end your meditation when your mind is not. So that we can allow the mind to return to its original clarity, and when the mind is clear, we make a proper decision. We make proper decisions, and we will choose better. Otherwise, we will probably not have the best judgment and make the best decisions to make and to see the differences between positivity, negativity, good, bad, right, wrong, and should not. And these combinations, they will be possible with the clarity of the mind. Okay, well, today our time is up, so I do not have more time to explain where this contamination comes from. Yeah, I explained already that it comes from our daily activities, but there is something behind it. Okay, something that is the true cause of driving our mind from ourselves. Again, when the mind is away from ourselves, away from the perimeter of the body, it will start being affected, and the contamination will kick in. The mind will be clouded. So if we keep the mind within, like the practice of meditation, the mind returns to ourself, the amount of contamination will be much less, and our mind will be clear and pure, and that is how we will be able to enjoy the world in maybe a different way. When we cannot change anything in the world, at least try to change our own minds, and that's how you're gonna be able to enjoy the world a little bit better now, because you cannot change basically anything in the world. You cannot change the sun if it is too hot. You cannot change it, right? You cannot change the climate. You cannot change the weather. We cannot change economics. We cannot change politics. Well, you may agree that we can change, we can make the world better, we can make the climate a little better and reduce the global warming or whatsoever. But we will not change by just, hey, the sun, you're too hot. You just reduce the amount of heat. we don't change it that way, right? Basically, you cannot change anything, including people around you. No matter how hard you try to change them, maybe they're gonna change, but it will not be forever if they don't want to change themselves. So no matter how hard you try, no matter how much effort that you put in changing those people, eventually they're going to return to themselves if they are not willing to change. So you can't even control your body, because if you can control your body will not be affected with COVID-19 or any viruses, right? The only thing that you can control, okay, you cannot control the sun, the moon, the star, you cannot control the weather, the climate, you cannot control politics, economics, you cannot control even people around you, even your own body. The only thing you can control, but we hardly try to control it, is our own mind. Okay, so I hope we are willing to learn to observe and to control a little bit more the minds, and let's do the meditation every single day, just to make sure that our minds are clean. Similar to we brush our teeth every day, to make sure that our teeth and our mouths are clean, we need to do the same with the mind as well. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention today. I hope that you got something from this session, and I hope you will consider practicing meditation every day as well.
Thank you
If
ค่ะ
you
หล
have
วง
any
พี่
questions, you can ask. Yes.
There are two questions tonight ค่ะ
Oh,
I hope
okay.
you still have some time. The first question from Rose, she asks, then how you can cope with experiences that are unexpected. It's like lost a job or the sudden death of someone that close to you.
We can cope with those unexpected situations with inner wisdoms. We talk about letting go, and there are many practices that allow us to let go a little better. But when the mind faces something big, something unexpected, it's not very easy to cope. But with inner wisdoms, you'll be able to cope with. I like to show you one story. So let me find that story. Actually, during the Buddha's time, there was a lady called Gisa Kotami. She basically, she lost her son, and her son was just a newborn baby. So she took her son to the Buddha, and sorry, I mixed up. Let me begin again. And this lady, she took her son to many doctors, so that she didn't accept that her son already died, but because the way that she was unable to let go, she kept carrying her dead son to many doctors, and when the doctors see the dead body, they knew immediately that the son is dead, so that they didn't want to break her heart. They didn't want to say that, hey, we cannot heal your son. So they kept asking her to go to a doctor, a new doctor, something like that. So the second doctor say, hey, I cannot heal your son. The third one say, hey, I cannot heal either. Or maybe they were trying to say that your son is dead, but she didn't listen. Okay, so eventually the last one in the whole city said that, I think all the doctors will not be able to heal your son, but there might be one person whom you consider visiting, the Buddha. So she carried the dead body of her son to the Buddha and asked the same questions. The Buddha, looking at the body of the son, said, well, I will try, but you have to do one thing for me. You have to do one thing. You need to find me a lettuce seed from a house that has nobody died there before. Again, you have to find a lettuce seed, but this seed has to come from a house where nobody died ever in that house before. So she was very glad because she finally found someone who is willing to try. So she went to all the houses in the city and asked them, do you have a lettuce seed? And they say, yes, we have plenty of them. And she asked further, but your house, has anybody died in the house before? And they say, yeah, definitely. We have someone who passed away in your family before, in this house before. So, okay, the lettuce seed from this house is not going to work. So she went to different houses, asking the same questions. At first, she was very glad that they had lettuce seed, But then when they said that there was someone who died in their house before, that didn't work either. So she kept asking. Status is probably very common. So she went to all the houses. When she reached the last one, she realized one thing, that everyone dies. Everybody dies. And she realized that this is a part of the nature. The nature of the world contains impermanent, inconsistent, and it is uncontrollable. So this is the nature of the world. The world is inconsistent, impermanent, inconsistent, and uncontrollable. If she tries to control the nature, if she tries to bring back the life of her dead son, that's against the law of the nature. So she realized, because the Buddha didn't tell her directly, she probably wouldn't be able to think or to find, like to reason for that. But the Buddha asked her to slowly think by herself. And once she started to think, she could find a proper conclusion. So that is an acceptance from the inner wisdoms. When you have the inner wisdoms, you tend to accept better. And when you can accept, then you can let go. If you cannot accept, you cannot let go. But why can't you accept? You cannot accept because your mind isn't very clear, or there might be something that is blocking the acceptance. And that can be removed with inner wisdoms. With the practice of meditation, or when you start thinking like the lady, that it works that way. Okay, so that's the first question, I guess.
Thank you, Ka. There's another one, another question is how you can cope with the wandering mind during meditation.
We cope with the wandering mind during the meditation by first we need to understand that having wandering minds in meditation is very normal. So if your mind doesn't wander at all, you one of the rarest species or rarest type of meditators. But I would say that 99.9999% of meditators, I don't know how many digits, how many fractions we put here, but all meditators, their mind wanders. So if your mind wanders, no wonder that you are just a normal human being. Okay, so you need to have this mindset first. The second mindset is when you meditate, if you can bring your mind to the stillness, and your mind wanders, your mind doesn't wander at all in that particular moment. And if you can stay like that for a second or two, that session is very rewarding already. So it means that if today you manage to find some seconds of stillness, then it is good. It is a good session. Maybe the question is, how can we lengthen those seconds? How can we lengthen them so that instead of being just 2 seconds or 1 second today, next time you meditate, it will become 4 or 5 or maybe 1 minute, right? So the reasons that your mind wanders is the result of the contaminations in your mind. If your mind is less clouded, your mind will not wander too much. And meditation is a detoxification process in a way that every time you meditate, you decontaminate or detox your mind. So when you detox your mind, then those thoughts that appear, that come out, will definitely be there. So you're going to see those pictures, you're going to actually have your mind wander because your mind is still not pure. Okay? Then a question is, how do we make our mind a little clearer before the meditation? Don't dump the garbage in too much. You need to clear the garbage out more than you put them back in. And who put them back in? Is you yourself, right? Because in your days, everything you do, you tend to put the garbage in the whole time. if you stop using social media for a week, you will notice that the amount of garbage in your mind reduced drastically because you don't see other people's businesses. And when we see their businesses, okay, our mind is, we tend to remember their businesses. We tend to think, what if we do something like them? Maybe we become happier. They start traveling now, even in the COVID world. But what if I can travel? I could become more happy. Those kind of thoughts pour in the amount of garbage in the mind the whole time. So every time we close our eyes and our mind wanders, no wonders. So this is actually not the real thing to do, but the real thing to do is just to wait for the contamination to disappear from your mind. You can't do anything. You can't control. What you can do is to limit the amount of garbage that initially will be there when you begin meditation. If you can do that, that meditation is going to be less contaminated. It's going to be an easier sessions. But if nothing, if you didn't prepare your mind at all, your mind is super busy, you close your eyes, it's like a huge tornado running inside, then do this. Open your eyes. When you open your eyes, the tornado disappears. And when you close your eyes, the tornado appears again. You open your eyes, it disappears. You do this several times, the amount of tornado, the strength of it will decrease, and maybe there will be some point that you can stay with the tornado without being affected so much, and then you wait for the wind to wind down and become calm again.
Thank you, ka. Thank you, ka. No more questions tonight.
All right.
Yes. So we would like to pay respect to our teacher monks. Please bow. Bow. Bow.
Thank you very much, and I would like to all of you to be healthy, to be wealthy, to be wise, and have the wisdoms to overcome all obstacles in your life. May all your wishes be fulfilled. May all your dreams become true. And every time you meditate, may you attain the inner peace, the deep true peace of the Dhammakaya within, without delay.
Thank you again, ka. See you soon.
See you later. Bye.
Bye, ka.